Hi, I'm Anthony, the certified technician working for Patrick Cadillac, and today we are doing a tutorial on how to do your oil change. First things first, we will get to your oil cap. So this mentions your type of oil it takes, which this CT4 2021 takes 0W20 oil. Since it is a 4-cylinder, most of our 4-cylinders take the 020, with their V6s taking the 530. So then second off, we have your oil dipstick here. This shows you the level or the amount of oil inside your engine. This is a very good thing to check if you have like a low oil pressure light on or anything like that, since kind of keep your car running, since it is the main component of how the car runs. I like to call it like the blood of your car is a good one. And then from there, we will look underneath the vehicle. So now we are underneath the car. So this is your oil drainer. This is where all the used oil goes in the vehicle. And then third step, we get into actually draining the oil itself. So this plastic piece is called the oil pan. Some cars have metal, specifically with our 4-cylinders, they do use plastic. We have our oil drain plug right here, which again will be plastic since this is using a plastic oil drain pan. So with that, we'll loosen that, and then all the oil drips down from here pretty fast actually. And then this blue thing right here is called your oil filter. So that what basically traps all the oil inside and basically recirculates it through the vehicle. So we will get now to draining the oil itself. So now we're gonna get to draining the oil. So we are using a 3/8 extension right here, since this does not use an actual socket to loosen. So slowly loosen. And then what I like to do, since this oil does splash quite a lot, I usually use a long screwdriver so I can kind of just move it out of the way. So we'll raise the oil drainer. And from there, we can kind of just pick that thing. Sometimes it's a little hard. So this one's a little bit better, but some of them do splash out a lot. So as you can tell, that oil is a little dark, so that is all your used oil. If it is a lighter color, it tends to be kind of like a newerish kind of oil, so depending on the color. But usually, averagely, it's around every 4,000 to 5,000 miles. Depending on the vehicle, specifically with the CT4s, usually recommend about 4,000. And then make sure to talk to your service advisor to make sure how many miles, to make sure you're keeping up with the right time frame. So then we use the 3/8 ratchet again. We have something called the oil filter tool. Basically just tightens around the filter and then just grabs it and spins it off. So luckily this one's a little easier. So I'll kind of get up in there. Sometimes these are a little overly tight, but get that loose. And kind of just take it there, let the oil drain out. And from there, just spin it off with the long screwdriver. A little bit. And then we'll let the oil drain out, and then after that, we'll show you how to put it all back on and put it back together once we get that filter on. So we got the filter here. With the 2.0s, they take the PF66 filter, so they either come in blue or black. So we will first make sure the area is clean, because you don't want any leftover oil. So then we'll take this in the drainer to make sure it seats correctly, because if you don't put any oil on this, it can over tighten sometimes. So this way it makes it a little easier to install. So then from there, all we have left is to put the oil drain plug back on. Right here, we'll just clean it and make sure, give it a nice clean. Don't want any leftover oil residue from there. So then we'll take our 3/8 again. Take this off, and then from there we'll make sure it's on tighten. And it's pretty simple. You just tighten, and there's two little dials right here that basically stops the oil drain plug from over tightening. And then we'll clean that area off, make sure it's all clean. And then after that, we will lower the car and actually add oil to the vehicle. We are going to be now adding oil to the vehicle. So pretty simple. we will twist this off. So this engages the fluid to go inside. And then as you can tell here, we do have the quart gauge, or if you just want to call it a regular gauge, this tells you how many quarts are going in the engine. So with these engines, you have to go a little bit slow because it can sometimes overfill and it kind of comes up. So we'll go super slow and steady. So the CT4 takes 5.2 quarts to be exact. So these only take 0.20, so not too much, luckily. All right, and then from there, we have the 5.2 quarts in there. Take the towel, make sure no oil residue gets on the cover. So then we'll just kind of twist that tight. This way it lets no fluid out. We'll put that down. And then from there, make sure it's all nice and clean for the customer. And then as you can tell, we have our cap right here. And then next and last step, we will check the dipstick. So first you gotta clean it off to get all that old oil off, and then you'll reinsert it into the oil dipstick. So then from here, this is how you check your oil. So you can see your little dial right there. So that means it's at the full mark. So then we will reinsert the oil dipstick. And then from there, that is how to do an oil change on a CT4 4-cylinder. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned something today. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.